Welcome, everybody, to
The Cellcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me this morning is a man who desperately has to get back to Colorado, Jacob.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to introduce our co-host, a man who just wants to become Digimon Emperor. Welcome, Drew.
The Digimon Emperor wasn't even in this one. Why do I know that?
I don't know.
Even the character who was the Digimon Emperor was not in this.
No, he's in the 5th film.
Of course, there's more. It's anime.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you doing tonight, Jacob?
I am, to quote one of the characters from this movie, it is some of the stupidest line ever, but prodigious. How about yourself?
He said prodigious that he found a virus on the internet. That's not very... Plus, he stole that from Billy and the Power Rangers, but that's beside the point. That I know why I know.
Yes, we know.
I'm doing very well myself. So I guess we should just jump right in. What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Well, I haven't really watched a whole lot this week, but I did sitting down and watching Cinderella 3. Now, I know what you're saying. Those are bad. I know that. And everyone keeps saying, like, the sequels, prequels that came out in the early 2000s for Disney were trash. And
most were.
Most of them were. But after watching this movie, to me personally, it was actually really good. I was kind of surprised. The second one, not so much. Funny story when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. Back, I think it was like in 2003 when the second movie came out. A friend of mine who I was trying to date, didn't work obviously.
Happens. I'm just saying, at least she got that.
Yeah, so that's true. So she calls me. It's like, hey Jacob, can you come over? Because my mom's just picked up a new, I think, Cinderella 2, and be like, you want to come over and watch? And he's like, yeah, sure. I was thinking like, okay, had no idea. I was like, okay, watch this. Sitting, or lying on the floor next to her, and it's like, okay, well, at least I got that.
Yeah.
And watching this movie, it's like, okay, this is a train wreck. This is not good. Okay, at least next to her, we're good. But, so, I finally got around to watching this third film, and honestly, I was very impressed.
Okay.
Like, solidly impressed with this film, because it took the one story that was actually good from that very confusing. It's apparently the second one was 3 separate shorts they just put together and made a cohesive story. I'm using air quotes.
This will be coming back, by the way.
Yeah. just a bit. And they used the one that was actually really good. The one little short story. And they reworked it in this one. And I was thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how some people might say that The Return to Jafar was absolutely terrible. And in some parts, I would agree with that. But I have a very fond memory of Return to Jafar, which is the second Aladdin movie.
Well, and what I remember, the third movie, Aladdin and the Prince of Thieves, wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely you have Sean Connery as Aladdin's father.
Yeah.
That was a little different.
Just a touch.
That's like, oh, he's supposed to be Arab.
If he can be Indiana Jones's dad, he can be Aladdin's dad.
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, I thought it was a very good film. I thought it was a very good film and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was so I was complexed by the voice of Prince Charming. Because he would talk and be like, in the original movie, he really didn't talk. And so, I keep hearing his voice and it's like, this guy sounds really familiar. So I pull up the good old Googles and check it out. And it's like, turns out, he also voiced Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid. It's like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he nearly marries a redhead. Kind of fits.
I know.
But yeah, that's basically what I've watched. What have you watched, Drew?
Well, I recently discovered, when I got back on Hulu, that they had a bunch of Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah.
That some I had missed.
Ah.
And as you know, recently we talked about a movie coming up, if it's not already out, about the Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go.
Oh, yeah.
And I said I needed to catch up on both.
Yeah.
But when I talked about a couple weeks ago starting Teen Titans, I said DC Universe does not have Teen Titans Go.
Really?
Hulu does.
That is weird.
I think it's just because technically it's still an ongoing show, so Cartoon Network probably holds some right to distribution on it more than DC does, despite the fact they're all the same company in the end. But you know how that, anyway. Yeah. So I started watching Teen Titans Go. I got through one episode. That's all I've watched so far.
Okay.
And I was right. The first one is about a sandwich. And the second half of that is about, strangely enough, it just slipped my mind. Hang on, it's another food. Pie.
It was about pie.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, technically, pie was involved, but it was Cyborg's birthday, Beast Boy's wanting to get him a present. Cyborg says something to the effect of, what I really want is a super duper game that I know no one can afford. Beast Boy feels like, I've got to get him this game.
Mm-hmm.
So then he has to get a job, and the only place that will hire him, then actually keep him around, is the pie place they both like.
Yeah.
Which is also where the birthday party is being held, and he ends up being forced to work on Cyborg's birthday.
Oh.
Cyborg feels a little miffed about the whole deal, because he doesn't know why he's going that far. Also, the pie place is technically run by a supervillain who's hypnotizing people and turning them into pies.
Oh, okay. It sounds like an episode from Turtles.
I guess it's... Yeah. What I got from it was not that it was stupid, as I had pretty much thought. There is some thought. And there's actually a lot of thought going into these characters and showing these characters in a different light than any of the other sources ever have.
Right.
As someone who still prefers the original Teen Titans, I can't really say Teen Titans Go is trash.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to be that honest.
Okay.
Also, they have Nickelodeon shows on Hulu.
Really?
Yes. And as I was going through there, I found that they had a show that I had needed to watch and never had a chance when it was on because high school. Yeah. No time in high school to actually watch anything.
Yeah.
A little show called Invader Zim.
Ah.
I got through 2 or 3 episodes on it. It's kind of like Dark Gravity Falls.
Right.
It's and considering some of the episodes of Gravity Falls, that's saying something. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed what I've watched of it so far. Will continue at some point, just not immediately, because unfortunately, it is still in 4.8. The video file on Hulu is still interlaced.
Okay.
Which, if you don't know what that means, it's still trying to work like old... The video is still being shown like the way old TVs would show television shows, which means it's a little bit of fuzz.
Ah, okay.
And it's a little bit annoying.
I can imagine that being a little bit aggravating.
Especially when it's obviously vector animation.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's that. And then, right before... after I got off work today, before we recorded, I'm eating dinner and I turn on a movie. Hadn't watched in a while. I'd seen the first one recently and I needed to get around to the second one. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2.
Ah.
Power went out about 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Oh, fun.
So it's like, well, that's great. So a couple minutes later, power comes back on. PS4 screaming at me for not shutting the PS4 down correctly. Like I could have.
Yeah.
So I get launched into it. I get back to the movie. I hit resume. Power blinks.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Am I not supposed to finish this movie? So I try a third time, and I do get the movie finished. It is a fun movie, especially if you'd like the first one. I actually think the comedy's better in this one than in the first one.
Okay.
But then I like stupid jokes, so...
Oh, okay.
I mean, there is a one point where, as they're going down the river, well, with all... Because, the big deal is that the food is turned into animals.
Okay.
Is the whole deal. The food on the island that they originally brought down is somehow evolving into animals. Okay. At one point, as they're going down this river of their used to be home, at one point, one of the guys says, "There's a leak in the boat." And it turns out it's actually a walking, talking vegetable leak. And there's a part of me going, that joke is so stupid. But it's funny.
Okay, then.
But I love puns.
I can tell.
Yeah. So, that's been what I've been watching.
Okay.
Do you have anything in the news? Because I do have one. I'll go ahead and go into that while you're looking yours up. If you remember last week, we brought up the fire at Kyoto Animation. Mm-hmm. There has been one additional death, unfortunately, raising the count up to 35. Thankfully, the good news out of all this is that everything they had was indeed backed up. So they lost no data.
That's good.
Or everything is immediately recoverable at the very least. Nothing is... They will still be able to continue work at the other studios on the stuff they were working on at Studio One. So after obviously some hiring, they should be back up running. They had 2 movies that were coming out this year that were being made in Studio One. Yeah. One was a Violet Evergarden movie, which is Violet Evergarden's on Netflix if you're wanting to look at that. I haven't watched it. I don't know how good it is. It is still screening at a convention here in about 2 or 3 weeks at the request of the animation studio. Wow. The convention gave them an out and they said, absolutely not. We're still showing this movie. Wow. And there's another one coming out at the end of the year. That is still on time. They said, just because we've had this downside does not mean we're not going to continue on. Yeah. We're still going to put this out, if for no other reason than memory of the people we lost. Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the people that we did lose, we have since found out, was the director of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That was on on about 10 years ago, I think. Yeah. It was it was the anime that got me back into anime. Really? So that was a little disheartening. Ow. Yeah. So, that's the news I had. At least it looks like things are coming back up for them. Okay. I believe they have they themselves have opened up a account for the families. Okay. And they have already raised somewhere close to $1.3 million after you do the conversion. Yeah. Sentai Filmworks' fund, I think, has breached $2 million. Wow. And the only reason they haven't sent it over there yet is because they're still in talks with Kyoto Animation in making sure it gets to the right people. That's good. So that is amazing. So on to happier news, hopefully. Yeah, on to happier news. Do you remember the comic strip BC? BC, as in the one in the newspaper. Yes. That has been going for nearly 100 years. Close, nearly 50. Either way, it is not the same guy who started it. No, he passed away a couple of years ago. Yes. And apparently his 2 sons, his aunt, and his wife are still doing the comic strip. Oh. So apparently... Good for them. Yeah. So apparently an independent animation production company
Perplexed Media has launched an Indiegogo campaign to crowdfund a development of BC.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. I know it's about cavemen.
Yes.
And there were and I do remember a lot of Sunday, I do remember it being a very, despite it being cavemen, that was very intelligent.
Yes.
In its writing. I'm just not sure how you can make a movie out of it. Garfield, I could at least understand. Peanuts, I could understand. But BC?
Well,
that's like making a movie out of Dilbert. But then they did make a TV show out of Dilbert. So what do I know?
Yeah. So apparently, this is not going to make the movie itself. This campaign is only to get the pre-production rolling, to get the the animatics and all this stuff to all the pre-production work done for it, before they can start either pitch it to it.
So then they're going to do another Indiegogo when it's time to get real funding,
apparently, or they're going to pitch it to a bigger company. That's
true.
Company.
If you've got enough people who have already paid money into just to get it going, that could get some of the executives in Hollywood to say, "Yeah, we'll throw some more money towards this. Get it out the door." There's obviously interest.
Yeah.
Do you know if it's funded yet?
I
mean, it's Indiegogo, so it's not like it's a funded or it won't happen deal.
No. As of right now, it does have a Indiegogo page if you want to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's BC Comics animated feature. Its set goal is $30,000. Right now, it has $1,350 currently raised. And
how long has it been going?
Has 34 days left.
It's got a chance if it blows up, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I would actually need to see footage before I made a decision of whether I thought it would be good or not. At the moment, I'm just going... At the moment, I'm where I was when I first heard the Lego movie was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how on earth are you going to make a movie out of this? Except, I know this at least has characters.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of when Don Bluth was trying to pitch around and do an Indiegogo to do a full version of Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair.
Actually making a movie based on the video game.
Yes. Kind of that same vein.
And it's apparently he's still trying to get it off the ground. He wants to get this done.
Of course.
And I know their Indiegogo didn't fund, but there's still a lot of people who want to see that.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, there's that. And
lost your train of thought?
No, Bill. I'm trying to think how to transition from that, because it's going from a very sad story to kind of a beat back to a sad story.
Oh no, who died?
Yeah. So to round out news with more bad news, and definitely for those who have loved Minnie Mouse for 30, 40 odd years.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly enough that Russie Taylor, the award-winning voice actress for Minnie Mouse, for the past 30 years, died July 26th in Glendale, California, at the age of 79 years old.
Did you know that voice of Minnie Mouse is married to the current voice of Mickey Mouse?
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Imagine what that guy's going through.
Oh, man.
Because probably he won't be able... if I was in that situation, I would not be able to continue as Mickey.
Yeah.
I'd have to let that role go.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I could flirt with another woman.
Yeah.
After my wife died. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially when that's what Mickey kind of does.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. In in the Mickey Mouse style. Yeah, this is a quote from Rusty Taylor. You have to bring yourself to a character, but because of this particular character, she actually enhances who I am. She really does. In a sense, Minnie makes me better than I was before, because there is a lot living up to. So, yeah, we lost a very talented and very beloved voice actress who has done numerous things for Disney and other companies.
Yeah.
And when I first read this, when I first saw it on Facebook, I was like, who? Because I didn't quite get the notion, be like, she's standing next to a Minnie Mouse statue. So I didn't really click until I read the article, and I was like, oh, that's not good. That was... And then when you said what you just said ago, it's like, oh, that just makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Because probably both Mickey and Minnie now are probably going to have to be recast. How do you recast both those characters?
Yeah, such iconic characters who've probably been voiced by the same characters for 30 years.
Yeah.
So...
Anyway, on to... Well, I guess what's next is our review. That's not going to be good times, is it? It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie.
But boy, are we going to have a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and move into our review of... Well, I guess it's technically our Digi review of Digimon The Movie. Digimon The Movie was created by Fox Kids... Mm-hmm. In many ways as a response to Pokemon. The first movie. Unfortunately, at the time, Digimon only had 3 movies in Japan, most of which were really shorts more than anything else.
Yeah, OVAs.
Really OVAs is what we call them, which stands for Original Video Animation. Normally, there are 2 different kinds of OVAs. You have your straight-to-DVD stuff, such as Gundam, which we know as Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, if it's connected to an ongoing series, it's really more of a featurette.
Right.
Which is what these 3 movies really 4 movies really were.
Yeah, technically, yes.
Technically 4. So, technically, this is Digimon the Movie is the editing together of the original movie's Digimon Adventure.
Right.
Which is also the name of the first season.
Yeah.
Digimon Adventure, our War Game, which, for those of you who have actually seen the movie War Games, you'll note some similarities.
Some.
Not a lot. I mean, missiles are still involved.
Yeah.
And then, it's also based on Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Landing, and Digimon Adventure 02, Transcendent Evolution, The Golden Digimentals. Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
That is a lot of mouthful. So, the first 2 technically take place... Well, the first of those takes place before the first season.
Yeah, it technically takes place 4 years.
4 years before the first season. The second one takes place between seasons 1 and 2.
Yes.
While the other one takes place during season 2.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Well, far as I can understand from the fan perspective, because I was a fan of the show, and somewhat I still am, this show takes place roughly in the first act of the film, because
because the Digimon, as we brought up earlier, the Digimon Emperor is not on the team yet.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
For those of you going through the DVDs you can buy from Shoutcast.
Yeah.
Shout Factory. Sorry. Not Shoutcast. That's something else. So yeah, if you were wanting those, go to Shout Factory. Unfortunately, this movie is not available from Shout Factory because technically it's still owned by Fox.
which is technically now owned by
Disney. Which means you'll never see... if you're going to find this movie, it's going to be by sheer luck.
Well, you can still find it on Amazon.
You can still find it on Amazon. It's, what, $15?
Maybe.
For something that really should be in the $5 bin. And I'm not saying that due to the animation. We'll get into this a minute ago. It's just... oh, boy. So, the first 2 acts were directed by our good friend, Mamoru Hosoda, who, if you remember, directed the movie we previously talked about, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. And the second, and the stuff from Digimon Adventure 02 was directed by Shigeyasu Yamauchi. And the original Digimon itself was created by Akiyoshi Hongo.
Okay.
It was originally essentially Tamagotchis.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Not really Tamagotchis. Because it's a different brand.
Yeah, but that's the same idea.
Mm-hmm. The adaptation and screenplay were by Jeff Nimoy and Bob Buchholz. No, Jeff Nimoy is not related to Leonard Nimoy. I looked that up because I was curious.
Good research.
Now, under normal circumstances, we would go through each of these actors and actresses, talk about what movie they were in, what they played in this movie, and what we'd seen them in before.
Yeah.
But here's the problem.
Go ahead.
If you go to IMDb, you'll know every person in this thing is playing maybe about 2 or 3 people, if not more. And they have writing credits all over creation. So if you want to go look this up for yourself, go ahead. But I'll save you a little bit of trouble. A lot of these were in the first English adaptation of Akira. A lot of these were in multiple Power Rangers series. A couple were from Trigun.
Right.
And many other Bang Zoom dubs.
Right.
So, yeah. We're not going to we are going to run through the cast list right quick, but be advised we ain't touching anything else they've done at this time.
Yeah.
So, starting off, we've got Laura Jill Miller playing both Kari and young Kari. Mm-hmm. Joshua Seth playing young Tai and Tai. Mm-hmm. Bob Papenbook playing Red Greymon. David Lodge playing Parrotmon. Dorothy Elias Fawn as Tai's mom. Michael Sorich as Miko, Big Agumon, and Gargumon.
Miko the cat.
Miko the cat, yes, sorry. Well, somebody besides Frank Welker can play an animal. Oh, wait, it's a cat. He only plays dogs. Except in that one movie. Anyway, Peggy O'Neill played Batumon. Colleen O'Shaughnessy played Sora and a male student. Mm-hmm. Brienne Brosey played Koromon and Kuramon. Mm-hmm. Jeff Nimoy, along with being the writer, was Truck Driver 1, Tentomon, Phone Voice 1, Kabuterimon, Mega Kabuterimon, Floyd the Barber, Barney, Cabby, and Kid 3.
Wow.
Also, writer Bob Colts played Truck Driver number 2, Male Customer, Phone Voice 2, Phone Mail Operator, Uncle Al, Andy, and Squad Leader.
Okay then.
Apparently, I did not realize, I'm just bringing this up now because of these names, and I know who they're now referring to.
Yep.
Was unaware that Matt and TK's grandmother lived in Mayberry.
Okay.
Floyd the Barber, Andy.
Okay. I didn't get that.
Yeah, I just caught that.
Okay.
Okay, Felice Sampler played Mimi, Cody, and Matt's grandma.
Okay then.
Mona Marshall played Izzy and Terriermon.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Lindsay played Joe and Greymon. Michael Reese played Matt. Wendy Lee played Young TK, Little Girl 1, Party Girl 1, and Little Cocomon. Elizabeth Rice played Boy 1, Sora's mom, Operator, and Kid 2. Anna Gardino played Boy 2, Palmon, Aunt B, Lady Truck Driver, and Kid 1. Boy, we're definitely still in Mayberry.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Neil Kaplan played Twin Boy 1, Computer Voice 2, Professor, Hawkmon, and Halcemon. Doug Erholtz played TK. Tiffany Kristen played Birthday Girl, Grocery Girl, Biomon, and Yole. Yoli, sorry. Anna, whatever. Ralph Garman played Newsman. Paul St. Peter played Caramon, Infernmon, Diaboromon, sorry, and Cocomon.
Mm-hmm.
I know the guy's Diablo, that's why I'm going, I guess that still would be Diaboro. Yeah, moving on. Tom Fawn played Agumon and Digmon. Mike Reynolds played Genai. I did catch that one.
Yes, you did. Good job.
Kirk Thornton played Gabumon, Metal Garurumon, and Omnimon.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Summer played Patamon. R. Martin Klein played Gomamon. Eddie Meerman played Gatomon, Recorded Operator, Angiwomon, and Magnadramon. Steve Blum played Computer Voice 1, Poromon, Flamedramon, Raydramon, Magnamon. Joseph Pilato played Metal Greymon. Lex Lang played War Greymon, and the other side of Omnimon, and Rapidmon, because Omnimon was voiced by two people at the same time, since it's technically two characters.
Yes.
Bob Luberman played Young Willis and Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Donovan played Davis. Dave Mallow played Upamon, Angemon, and Seraphmon.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Stephen Prince played Vmon, Demi-Vmon, and Pizza Guy. And last but not least, Robert Axelrod played Armadillomon.
That's a lot of Mons.
Indeed.
Now, I do have to point out that we have Steve Blum in this movie.
Yes.
If anybody who has no idea who Steve Blum is, he played Spike Spiegel.
Yes.
In Cowboy Bebop.
I also like to point out, because I didn't bring this up, there was actually a lot of Cowboy Bebop in this movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of Trigun, although I did bring up Trigun, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
So never mind.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, Faye Valentine was Wendy Lee.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, let's talk about this thing.
So, a little details on the film. This movie was released in the USA on October 6, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
It had a budget of $5 million because going back to when, like you said earlier, this was an attempt for Fox Kids to profit on what Warner Brothers was doing with Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And so they couldn't exactly they didn't have the budget to make their own film. But they had these OVAs, so let's just splice them together.
Yes.
So,
which ended up causing them some issues we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah. But, so, apparently, for a movie that had a budget of $5 million,
mm-hmm.
it made $16 million worldwide. So, technically, even though...
It made money.
It made money. Critics kind of bashed it a little bit.
Critics did bash it. The bad part was when SAG came after them.
Oh.
The Screen Actors Guild.
Oh.
Normally, at this time, voice acting, when you're adapting something from another country, you do not have to have SAG actors. Or you don't have to pay to scale because it's not an original work.
Right.
Which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I would assume it'd be harder to adapt. It'd be harder to record over somebody else's thing and have it still match everything, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But because these three parts were edited so much, SAG decided it was an original work.
Yeah.
So they went after them to get them to pay some additional money.
Hey, we want your money because we said we like this is an original movie. So give us money.
And technically, all the voice actors are SAG members.
Yeah.
So technically, they should have gotten a little more than they were getting.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you have any other details to bring up?
No.
Okay.
So let's bring it to the...
Let's go into the hot garbage first.
Yes.
This movie You would think that this movie would immediately go into Digimon.
You would think so.
Full on. No.
Nope.
They start off with a short based on at the time running Fox Kids show called Angela Anaconda. It goes on for 5 minutes. It was not put into the theatrical release for a quick joke. It's not just, oh, we're really excited for the Digimon movie, and here's us all running to the theater sort of thing like you think it would be.
Yeah.
It keeps going and going.
It's like the Energizer Bunny.
And about I say 5 minutes in, it's only 5 minutes long. About 3 minutes into it, you realize the people making this short, despite the fact they keep saying Digimon stuff,
yeah,
you can tell they've never watched Digimon at all.
Apparently they were just contracted to do it.
Yeah, very much so. Because the humans at this time did not turn into Digimon and call themselves Angelamon and fight giant robots.
No.
I'm just going to say this. If at any point in time they decide to re-release this on Blu-ray or other format, leave Angela Anaconda off. Adds nothing to the movie. It just puts a bad taste in your mouth going into the rest of it.
So, kind of on that same note, apparently when they did the TV broadcast of it, they
cut out all the Digimon stuff.
They cut out all of that.
Yeah, because they actually put it into an episode of Angela Anaconda.
Oh my god!
They just cut out any reference to Digimon.
Really?
Which I'm sitting there going, what did you leave? I mean, she's wearing Ty's helmet, or headband and goggles thing.
So apparently there was some kind of legal issue when it came to doing the TV broadcast.
Well, that's the thing. Fox Kids, while they owned Angela Anaconda, they're not the ones who were actually making Digimon the movie. Yeah. They were just producing and releasing. The people making it were our good friends at Saban Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Which is why they make a Power Rangers joke about 2 or 3 times in this movie.
That's right, they do.
And boy, do they not shut up.
No, they don't. So let's get into the movie proper.
Yes. The first one, which I'm just going to call first Act 1, which is based on Digimon Adventure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to come out and say it. That's some of the best friggin' animation I've seen in a long time, and it's connected to this.
Yeah, I agree. The animation in this is just phenomenal. It's not exactly my cup of tea of animation, but I enjoy it beyond belief. Well,
in many ways, I do want to go back and find the 3 original shorts and watch them, because I don't know how much, if they sped up stuff or not, but because admittedly there are some bits of that first one where it does seem like the animation is too smooth in parts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Still an awesome bit of animation. You should at least look these scenes up just to see a giant T-Rex-like monster fight a giant parrot-like monster. Yeah. And to see how awesome and cool that is.
Yeah,
watch.
Yeah, it's an amazing fight scene, just the animation, which, it was so... How do you describe that? It was just phenomenal how they animated that.
Yeah.
Obviously, at some points they did, reuse a little bit of animation here and there, but it was so good.
Yes.
It was so good. With this, they're setting up the world. They're setting up for what's going to happen in the second act of this film. And I enjoyed it. The only problem was, coming from a fan perspective, how the heck did, Agumon digivolve into Greymon? The only explanation I can figure out is because
I did
the whistle caused him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was Ty, begging him to help.
One of the things that comes up later in this movie,
and
is never explained, is the virus that ends up attacking the last two people.
Yeah,
in the last two acts.
Yeah,
I don't think that's involved in this one necessarily.
No, it doesn't.
But at the same time, you have to remember that Gatomon is technically at champion level, while everyone else, all the other Digimon at her size, are technically rookies.
Mm-hmm.
She had to digivolve to that by herself, but it took longer.
Right.
But when someone is motivated or filled with a bunch of food,
right?
Apparently that can make you digivolve also.
Yes, I agree.
At a much faster rate. And plus, there was that whole beginning is just kind of odd.
Yeah.
In reality, when you compare it to the rest of the series.
Yeah.
For one thing, Agumon is about 3 times the size he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because this is not the same Agumon that's in the second one.
Yeah.
It's a different character.
It's a different Agumon.
Anyway, it's good.
Yeah, I agree. It's good.
I enjoyed it. The biggest problem I have here is the dub. Like I say, they don't shut up.
No, they don't.
Keep talking. Kari narrates all 3 acts.
Yes.
Because she's the only person in all 3 acts.
That is true.
Well, she was barely in Act 2, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
She's in all 3 acts. And while I do love every single jab at Ty.
Yes, I agree.
It's, after a couple minutes, it's like, you don't have to narrate every scene. Let it breathe. Let it do what it's doing. I guarantee you no child watching this is going to get lost.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
My thought would be is probably the narration is for the adults. Because the children in the theater probably know all of this.
They probably do, because I swear, back when I watched the show, I could have swore I saw clips of this fight. When they're talking, when they're finding out Kari's actually a Digidestin.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they do. They use this from the first...
Because they actually talk about how they all became Digidestin and all that, and it's back to this fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems odd.
It's a little bit odd. A little bit.
Yeah, you can tell this was the first thing they did. Obviously, this feels like a pilot to me. Like it might have been the pilot episode of the property they wanted to do based on these little Tamagotchi-esque toys.
Yeah. To
make it work. I don't know if that was what they were originally doing. It just does feel like this is what we're doing with a little bit more. We'll put this out to get people interested.
Right.
And admittedly, it's very good.
I agree.
And technically, this is the actual directorial debut of Mamoru Hosoda.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing he ever directed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And he did such a good job.
I agree. I completely agree. Now,
I can see why they hired him to do the rest of Digimon Season 1.
Now, I did notice that we kind of skipped over another thing.
Okay.
Digirap. Why does everything have to be Digi? I understand it's a movie that's called Digimon, but you don't have to make everything Digi.
Do you remember at the time, and even before this, there was a commercial for the board game Guess Who?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. Connect 4.
Oh, okay.
Where after a while, in the commercial, they would make these stupid little jokes about for laughs, for fun, and then eventually they'd start bringing in people in costume and saying forsooth and for something else.
Okay, yeah.
I blame that mind thinking. Here's one thing, it's like, okay, you're making... One bad pun is fine. Because never let a bad pun go unsaid.
Yeah.
But too much of a good thing is not a good thing. And after a while, it's just like, okay, everything is Digi. And you have to put every single one of those words on screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, this is the late 90s, 1999, 1998.
And it was released in 2000.
It was released in 2000. It was recorded in 1999.
Admittedly, I can see that with the stuff at the time, and it does feel in many ways like an expansion of the theme song.
Yeah.
Which, let's face it did not have exactly very strong lyrics.
Right.
It was literally Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions, change into digital champions to save the digital world.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly.
So this does kind of feel like, okay, here is the full version of the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's bad, and they do at least play the right Digimon theme song during the fight.
Yes. So, ever since we've gotten past our big first battle, let's jump ahead 4 years.
Okay, it's been a long time, and I mean a long time, since I've seen the end of Digimon Season 1.
Yeah.
Where they come back to Earth.
Yeah.
I thought the Digimon came along with them, but I guess they at some point had to go back to the digital world, and so they could be uploaded to the internet.
No,
that's beside the point.
Well, originally,
heck, they're all in the live action world in part 3. So
yeah, that's true. What I remember the first season, the kids were told to be like, "Hey, we have the small window. You have to go now," and the Digimon couldn't go with them. So there was a big sad party goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if a running joke was that Ty's mom was a bad cook.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm sitting there going, you've never used flour for a cake? Did she just say potato juice?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Poor Izzy. Poor Izzy.
I will sit there going, this is not going to turn out well.
No, it's not.
And boy, did it not turn out well.
No. Right in the middle of everything. It's, no, I gotta go.
He runs off, and then Ty destroys the computer.
Of course. It's like, why do you leave the sensitive material to
the idiots?
Exactly. And he's our leader character. He's our hero character.
Yes, and he's an idiot.
I agree. I completely agree.
This is the guy who, I do remember this, he could not get Agumon to digivolve into his champion form.
Yeah.
Treated him horribly so that he did eventually turn into
Skull
Greymon, which is like, oh, okay, that's obviously evil. God, Ty, you idiot.
Yeah, he was a bit of an idiot in the series, and this very much reflects the mood of this movie, and also how they've got this tie-in, kind of non-intended pun of tie-in.
Yes,
that you have this whole situation between Ty and Sora about the hairpin,
right? And it's just okay. I understand Ty's point of view.
Yeah.
He bought something for her to be nice.
Yes.
And then she took it completely the wrong way. He just kept digging himself deeper.
He had the best of intentions.
Yes.
And like you said, he buried it too deep to where now he's,
Yes, it takes the end of the world a possible end of the world in order for them to... No, she doesn't even come back. It's not until they beat Diaboromon
yeah.
that the email gets her. She's, oh, Ty, you sweetie. It's like, I don't remember Sora being this stupid. Or this forgiving.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, they did some weird stuff in this movie.
They did. The whole fact of Diaboromon looking for the programmer and having to go through the one thing
I just kept waiting for him to say, "Would you like to play a game?" But no, it's like, hello, and what was the other one? And he was multiplying.
Hold on.
I don't remember.
But the 90s puns in this movie.
Yes.
The point of where he's got into the phone company. If he goes through that, he's going to take out the internet. Which is our only way into the internet.
In the 90s.
That was the way it was.
And of course I loved what Izzy said that Willis told him. He tells the phone company about, at the time, Inframon.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, great, we'll sign him up and give him 50 free minutes." It's like, okay.
Yeah, this is definitely a product of its time.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why this came to mind, but this being an anime from the 90s.
Yeah.
It's extremely odd that they were fine with leaving the main characters from the first season as being from Japan.
Yeah, I would agree.
When you look at how American dubs usually were at the time.
Yeah.
When Cardcaptor Sakura was brought over into Cardcaptors, they put her in California.
I do remember that.
Sailor Moon went to Crossroads Junior High. Because on the animation, there was a bit on the front of the school, there was something that kind of looked like a crossroads. And I don't remember what it was, but it was obviously one of the writings of the original name of the school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other things where they said, yeah, this takes place in America, where they wear kimonos.
Or the famous one coming from Pokemon, be like, oh, jelly donuts.
Jelly donuts. That's a rice ball. Jelly donuts.
But yeah, I was very surprised. I didn't know it at the time when I was watching it. It was 1999 when this came out. I was like, oh, okay. So they're
I didn't remember them actually being from Japan. So, because I mean, obviously they Americanized all the names.
Yeah.
And Ty is odd, but hey, Ty I can live with.
Yeah.
TK, Matt.
Yeah.
Mimi, Joe.
Sora.
Well, this is before Kingdom Hearts. So, Sora. Also, I will bring this other thing up now that we've jumped back to that. The actress who played Kari.
Yeah.
Plays a character in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Go figure. We can't get away from Kingdom Hearts.
God, I just want to bring that up. So it's like, yeah, a character in Kingdom Hearts 3, a character in this movie.
Yeah.
Talked to a character named Sora in 2 different properties. One was male and one was female. Apparently Sora's a gender-neutral name.
Yeah.
Was unaware of this.
But, yeah, it was... They kind of kept a lot of the Japanese,
Ish stuff.
A lot of the Japanese stuff, yeah.
Sora's mom was dressed as a geisha.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, huh? That's not PC.
No, of course not.
How did they just had to know, no one's going to know what this is. Just leave her hair like that. She's Japanese.
Yeah. Well, also, it was the late 90s and 2000s, so people were not exactly as culturally...
True.
Knowledgeable or relevant of now.
But still, I do love that scene. Sora, Ty's on the phone for you. Tell him I'm not home. But I already told him you were here. I don't care what you tell him. I'm not talking to him. You have the wrong number.
Click!
It's
like, what did you do?
It's like, how stupid are you, Ty? For once, Ty was in the right.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't keep from digging himself into a hole.
Well, also, he's talking to an 11-year-old preteen girl. So everything is drama.
Yes. So anyway.
Yeah. And at that age, be like, boys are like, I don't get girls at all.
True. Now, before we move on from Act 2,
I
want to point out something. This is the last of the stuff that Mamoru Hosoda directed.
Right.
Before it goes to the other guy.
Yeah.
This second act served as the inspiration for the movie Summer Wars.
Yeah, I remember
which
about that. Yeah.
Is the movie I chose to replace the movie Coco from last week.
Gotcha.
Little bit of spoilering there, but yeah. So. On to... Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, the one thing they kept... There's a recurring song in this one segment. It's been 1 week since you look
Why
at me.
do you play the bare naked ladies?
Because they're awesome.
They're called the bare naked ladies, for one thing. B, do you know what that song is about? I'm glad they talked over it, because kids don't need to be hearing that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep in mind, I was the kid this was aimed at.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was the funniest thing in the plan. They're playing bare naked ladies 1 week. I was like, that's awesome.
Well, they were just picking random popular songs from the 90s.
Yeah.
That's why later on, I don't remember if it's at the end of Act 2 or during Act 3.
Yeah.
Where they actually play All-Star.
Yes. That's Act 3.
Act 3. It's like... So I'm now curious, when did Shrek come out? Was it after this?
I think it was after this.
You're telling me All-Star got to the movie theater screen first through Digimon before it grew to its ultimate in... Sorry, it digivolved into its ultimate form in Shrek.
Apparently, I might be wrong, but this is, where I'm currently standing. Oh, gosh.
And before we get too much farther on, I do want to talk about one little extra thing.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who, while I know it's reused animation, I kind of get excited when I see the Digivolution, the transformations.
Yes.
In this case, in any kind of animated thing. In this case, the Digivolutions.
Yes.
I'm expecting to say full screen, like it was in every episode of the show, except when they had to do multiple Digivolutions at the same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Every single Digivolution in Act 2.
Yes.
Was on full screen for maybe a hot second, before it then got shrunk down to be on a little screen on somebody's computer. And I'm just sitting there, including... the Warp Digivolution.
Yeah. Which was Double Warp.
Double Warp Digivolution, which was the best looking one of all the Digivolutions they ever did.
Yeah.
In my opinion, especially during season 1.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, why? And also, logically, how are you all watching the internet?
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't Diaboromon kind of slowing everything down?
Somehow, there's a camera going. Well, even at the beginning when they're going through and you see the, what is it called when it first comes out of the egg? Baby form.
Yeah, baby form.
Yeah, the baby form of this Digimon on a bunch of televisions. It's like, does anybody know in this world besides the 8 people we followed and even know what the bloody crap this is? I mean, obviously some of the other Digidestined, like Willis, are going to know what it is. Yeah. And it's all Willis's fault, apparently.
Yes, apparently.
And also, can I just bring this up while we're here?
Go for it.
I know that they kept bringing Willis up.
Yeah.
Because they had to have a decent excuse to tie, pardon that pun, all 3 of these movies together.
Yes. He was the thread that combined them all.
He's the thread that tied the noose around these 3 things, is what he was. I'm just sitting there at the beginning, and keep in mind, it's been a long time since I watched Digimon before this.
I got you.
Except for Digimon Tri. I've seen some of that.
Yeah.
Which we will have to bring those up at some point. But I'm sitting there going, we didn't know. And I said, we all had 1 Digidestined, but then Willis over in America had 2. It's like, who's Willis? Mm-hmm. And it's like, we didn't know it at the time, but we saw our first Digimon thing here, and Willis did too on the other side of the world. Who's Willis? And why, throughout the entire movie, does nobody say, what you talking about, Willis? I could have seen, is it Dennis?
Davis.
Davis. I could see Davis saying something that's stupid.
Yes. Or Ty saying something like that.
Kai never met him.
That is true. He didn't.
Kai is still in Japan throughout this entire thing. Only for whatever reason were TK and Kari. Kingdom Hearts on the brain. Forgive me. TK and Kari in America. And then I'm still wondering, considering the apartment that Tai and Kari live in, how do they have the money to send Kari over to America?
Who knows? Well,
A.
Yeah.
B. Apparently, well, obviously, Matt and TK's grandmother lives in Mayberry, so they were just over. TK was just over visiting his grandmother again.
Apparently.
Why do I know that? Because Aunt B, Andy, and Floyd the Barber were in that scene. Or at least they claimed that's who those people were.
Oh, gosh. The connection this movie makes.
Yes.
Oh. And plus, apparently...
Matt, who are all those weird people? They're my best friends, considering this is the only computer in town.
Yeah. That is true. Now, before we start jumping into the third act... Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yes.
We kind of have to go into the fight scenes within the internet.
Yes. So the first one is between Agumon, Tentomon, and Infamon. It should be noted that all of the villain Digimon in this segment were new for this show.
Yes, they were.
It was the first time we'd seen any of them, including the baby form.
Yes.
Because, I mean, what did they say? What did I say it looked like? A cross between Jell-O and a contact lens?
Yes.
Good night. Why didn't you just hit delete? Don't you think I
tried
tried that?
It's
like, I don't think it works that way. Like I said, I really want to see the original. I really want to see the original version of this to see if they wrote it better.
Oh gosh!
To see how much of this is Jeff Nimoy's horrible writing.
So we actually do have three internet fight scenes.
Yes.
I mean, and they're done animated very well.
They're done, yeah. One of the things I like as just an animation nerd aspect of it,
yeah.
While they're in the internet scenes, the characters do not have black outlines.
Yeah.
They have thin red outlines to give it kind of a more ethereal look to it.
I agree.
And then, later on, when you get to the last one and Ty and Matt somehow end up in the internet with them, they just get rid of all the outlines at all. So it's just animated shapes moving together. Which still looks good.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Very good.
It's just, I'm sitting there going, logically, this is kind of funky.
Yeah, a little bit. And how they form into Omnimon, which we later learned what that was actually called. It's called DNA Digivolve.
Yes.
Or double warp DNA.
Either way, I know they did it later on in the show.
Yes.
When they brought all the characters back in season 2, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Minus someone else we're going to mention later. No, correction, he is mentioned. Forgot. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that'd be like the whole ending scene was like, okay, we've got a nice cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, but a very tense moment. It's like, oh yeah, the world's going to destroy, we got to blow all these, all these characters away. You got a timer going, you got the intensity and great animation. I thoroughly enjoyed the very end of that second act. It was fantastic.
And that is one thing you can say about Mamoru Hosoda's parts of this movie.
Yes.
They are extremely well animated.
Yes, I agree.
They're beautiful in every single shot.
Mm-hmm.
This might be giving you an idea as to what I think of the animation of the last part.
Yeah. I can feel the
animosity.
And kind of building a little bit.
A little bit. It's like, the first part of this was great, even if the writing was a little cheesy. But at the same time, it's like, you get to this third act.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I agree.
what happened?
Yeah.
I know what happened. Entirely different. Our team worked on part 3. And they were closer to the animation of the show itself.
Yes.
But for somehow, some way, at least I know this was true on the version I watched, which I had to watch an unlicensed video on YouTube. Tisk, I know. But it felt like in the third act, all of the colors were too warm.
A little bit, yeah. They
were not accurate to what they should have been. It really just looked like when they did the processing, they had the red filter on a little too strong.
Yeah, I would agree.
They're doing the coloring,
mm-hmm.
So there is that. The animation is not as fluid.
I agree. I completely agree with you.
At least we got full Digivolution sequences.
Yeah, we did.
In this part. For what good that does. Because it's just armor digivolving. And
well, technically it's not.
There was technically the mega forms that Patamon and
yes,
and Gatomon got to.
Yeah, but apparently, technically, Gatomon's Mega Digivolution is wrong in this movie, but I digress. It's a cool Digivolution, don't get me wrong, but it's wrong.
It's just a pink puffball version of Falcor from Neverending Story.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then and that's the other thing, is the third act features on characters not seen in the other 2 acts, and as someone who A, did not watch season 2 as much as I watched season 1 when I was a kid, B, barely remembers most of what was going on, and sitting there going, who are you people? Because Kari's description in the beginning of this section told me nothing other than, oh yeah, this guy, he does resemble Ty. Isn't that funny? He's obnoxious too.
Yeah,
it's like
just a bit.
You're actually commenting on it's virtually the same character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Congratulations, that's the most meta this thing ever gets, other than having the guy not be able to sing at the end of it.
Very true. Very true. You did bring up something very, very important about this movie. How it ties, quote unquote, ties in with the second act.
Mm-hmm.
When all the kids are watching the fight on the internet, which is there again, how are they doing this? And 2,
well, based on what I understand about what makes a Digidestined, that means every kid in the world is now a Digidestined.
Oh gosh, okay.
Based on those rules, why the original crew got to be Digidestined.
Exactly. Here's my rant on season 2 of Digimon.
Go right ahead.
2.
I am so happy to see you finally trash something.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a rant against the show.
Okay. I'm sure most of that can go to this too.
Yeah, for somewhat. Okay, when they illustrate when they do season 2, it's like, okay, you have these new Digidestined, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it more exclusive. And then you get the Digimon Emperor, realizing he's kin. And it's okay. You get that. Great! This is perfect. And then you get the second act of this movie, where all these kids are now, quote-unquote, Digidestined.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it makes it almost be like, oh, everybody gets a Digimon! Because you saw them on the internet!
Yeah.
You actually didn't see the fight! You saw a picture of it! Does not make you a Digidestined!
Mm-hmm.
And, oh my, that drove me nuts when the Digidestined and their Digimon come to the real world, they do a world tour part. And that drives me up the wall. The storyline and see that part of the season drives me nuts. And yeah, I do not there are some parts of the back half of season 2 of Digimon, I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
They left so much on the table of I think it's the Dark Ocean, which they don't mention in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's left completely open, which would have been perfect to use. And the ending of that show was so incredibly stupid.
Okay.
Rant over. Anyway.
I would just like to point out that while the characters from Digimon Adventure 01, as the show is called in Japan, and Digimon Adventure 02 in Season 2, those virtually have very little to do with one another, despite the fact they kept them in continuity.
Yeah.
That, I think, is why, starting with Season 3, they completely cut continuity off from all the stuff. So, Digimon Season 3 was called Digimon Tamers in that one. Digimon Season 4... Frontier. And that's the one where the kids turn into Digimon.
Yeah.
Then you had X-Cross... No, I'm jumping ahead.
No, that would be Data Squad.
Digimon Data Squad. Then X-Cross Wars. That's how it's actually written.
In the Japanese version. It's Digimon Fusion
over
in
here.
America.
Yeah, and then there's another one before Tri.
Yeah, that's
going on now. Either way, they got bored and started reusing Digimon.
Yeah.
Agumon, I think, is actually a main character in Fusion. It's a different Agumon.
No, it's not. I mean, that's not Agumon. That's what you're referring to is in Digimon Data Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different Agumon.
Yeah, it's a different Agumon, but it's still an Agumon. He can still turn into Greymon, War Greymon.
Not this one.
Okay, never mind then.
It's a branch of, apparently.
I will grant you the fact that I have not watched the actual show since Saban got it back.
Yeah.
And technically, Digimon Adventure Tri is not done at all by Saban.
That's what I remember.
It is being distributed by Shout Factory.
Yeah.
And while they did go back and hire the dub actors...
Yeah, quite a few of them.
It is still Shout Factory... A lot of them.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
They are still using the American names for the American dub.
Right.
And they apparently have a new... And while it's staying closer to the Japanese script, they apparently do have a new version of the theme song.
That's what I've heard.
I haven't watched the American version yet, but I'm seriously wanting to.
Yeah. So we'll eventually have to get around to watching all 6 films.
Yes. 6 films.
Yeah. And hopefully
because it's essentially a whole series.
Yeah. Yeah, because originally, Well,
Crunchyroll was originally releasing them in half-hour chunks.
Yeah.
As they were being shown on TV.
Right.
But they're all technically one film.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Or
each... There's technically 6 films. There's like 24 episodes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, getting into our third and final act. So, we've already gone over how the animation is vastly different from our first 2 acts.
Can I just say I hate Davis?
Everybody hates Davis.
I was, for the most part...
Unless you're a real fan of Davis, be like, yeah.
I was, for the most part, okay with them for most of the beginning of that act.
Yeah.
Until he hears Willis' story, starts crying like a baby.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's not your fault. It's my... Okay, sure. It's like...
He just snaps out of it.
What?
Now,
either A, he can turn his emotions off on a dime.
Yeah.
Or he was obviously faking it.
Yeah. Or, to give another one, because remember, this was originally an hour-long 2-part movie.
Yes, and it is shoved into 30 minutes.
So most likely the scenes they used were from some different part of the movie.
Yes.
So they're just making it out to be this.
Yes.
And it's, oh my, yeah, the whole turn, it's like, oh, falling a baby to, okay, we're fine.
Like, huh? What happened?
That was a head turn.
Yes. Also, where were the second group of Digidestined when TK and Kari called them? Because they said they want us to go to America. Don't they know we don't have that kind of money? I thought they were Americans.
No, they're not Americans.
Apparently not.
They're Japanese.
They all have more American names than the first crew did.
Except maybe Yoli, because Yoli's definitely not an American.
Well, he's an Asian American.
Yeah, Asian American.
Here's the thing. I can understand Joe.
Yeah.
Because I know an Asian man named Joe.
Yeah.
Or I know of an Asian man named Joe.
Yeah.
It's odd, but anyway. Davis, on the other hand,
is so American.
Right. That there's no way he'd had to be an American kid who moved to Japan for it to work.
That's true. Okay.
Or be born to American parents.
Okay.
It's not like Mimi, where she was obviously an American girl who moved to Japan.
Possibly. That's possibly. To give an explanation of why you have Kari and TK are in America, because we don't see this in the film, they're actually visiting Mimi.
No, yeah, they say that.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, okay, you have enough money to fly to New York City to visit a friend.
Yeah.
Who knows where you got that money, because it's certainly not coming out of the apartment complex food. Oh, it's obviously coming out of her food budget. Ty's mom's food budget. It's the only explanation.
Well,
or maybe they sold all those books that Ty's non-existent father had.
Well, apparently, because that kind of ties in with the first part, because apparently we do actually see Ty's dad in the original movie, mm-hmm. that he comes home and be like, the attack's happening, so what you do is see him. I don't think in the series you do see him. But
I don't even remember seeing him in this movie.
No, he's not. He's not in the film. Where was I going?
Don't know. Something about Ty's dad.
Oh,
because we were talking about how there's no way that Kari could have afforded to come to America.
That's right. That's right. Okay, good. Thank you.
At least that's my point.
Okay. The only
as far as I can tell, being a Digidestined doesn't make you a celebrity.
No, it doesn't.
Despite the fact you have all these little monsters next to you that should be scientific wonders of the world.
Exactly. The only explanation I can figure out is like how they got over there is either Mimi paid for their trip, or
she could do that.
Our TK's dad, who is works for a television station. He's a manager, so he could afford it. I know. That's the only explanation I can have.
Still, that's a ticket to the other side of the world.
Yes.
From where they came from. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, I agree. And speaking of travel.
And then you get the other four who apparently... what's her name?
Yoli.
That's the name of the girl?
Yeah, Yoli. Okay.
I thought that was the guy.
Yoli, Cody, and Davis.
Who's the other kid? There's four of them.
Yeah. Ken.
Okay.
Ken we don't meet until later on in the season.
There was four in this movie, and none of them were the Digimon Emperor.
You're talking about Willis.
I ain't talking about Willis. There were four of those kids.
Hold on.
In season 2 kids. I'm talking about... Okay.
In season 2.
You got Vmon, Armadillomon, Hawkmon. You're telling me there was not a fourth person?
No, there wasn't.
So you're telling me with Kari and TK, there's only 5 people? It would make sense, 5 people.
Yeah, there's only 5 of them.
It's a Power Ranger team. Obviously, it's 5 people. Until the 6th Ranger, the Digimon Emperor, joins. I know all this was not well, actually, no, it's Toei. Toei's the people who made Super Sentai. Gotta be the same writers. Okay, I'll let it go.
Okay. So, yeah, be like, we are introduced to our characters, obviously. And obviously, nobody likes Davis.
Nobody likes Davis. I kind of like... What's her name?
Yoli. I like Vmon. He's a bit of an idiot, but I like him.
He's kind of a smarter Agumon.
Yeah, he is the slighter Agumon. He's got a cool design.
Yeah, I hate his Digivolutions because they're so unoriginal compared to everybody else's.
Which part are we talking? The
Devimon, Vmon, X-Vmon.
Okay, natural. Natural Digivolution.
No, I'll take the other ones. Those were at least smart. But his regular ones is like, you really couldn't come up with something off of Vmon.
Yeah.
Heck, X-Vmon is only called that because he's got an X on his chest. And he still looks like Vmon.
Yeah,
it's like the only one stupider in this is in season 3 when the red turtle, or the red dragon thing that the main character draws has stupid Digivolutions too.
Oh, yeah. Wowmon!
Yeah.
Which is voiced by who?
I don't remember.
Steve Bloom!
I guess you gotta get paid.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because got side tangent on this, because apparently Steve Bloom wrote season 3.
Well, season 3 is better written.
Yeah.
Than the other 2 seasons were. Despite the fact it's a stupid story.
Yeah, I agree. It's very dark, though.
Yes, very dark.
Very dark. But anyway, I think we should go back to our movie.
Back to the movie, yes. Before we just review all of Digimon at the same time.
But it's like, yeah, so we meet our 3 new Digidestin. We get, we've got to go to New York. So Yoli has all these connections to get them there.
Why do we have to ride with this taxi cab? My dad knows them. And it's just like, y'all want to listen to some music? No,
they're in Houston.
Something slow. And of course he plays on the worst country song that's ever been played. Because it's obviously not a real country song. It's what people who don't listen to country think country is.
It's a banjo.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Also, they must have gone the long way to Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking.
If they flew to Houston. At the very least, if you end up in Texas, it would be DFW because that's where all the hubs are.
Yeah. You'd think they would go to California and then go there.
That's the thing, though. If I remember correctly, the hub of Houston is Delta.
Yeah.
There's your problem. Mm-hmm. It's Delta. Or United. They're both bad.
No, that's true.
What do I know? American goes into DFW, and then in some cases, it's not any better.
Yeah. But anyways. And so we finally get our characters to their destination, which is Colorado.
Yes. Because, well, this was before marijuana was legalized.
Yeah.
This might be why marijuana was legalized.
Thanks, Digimon The Movie.
After you saw those things walking around no part of Colorado I've seen, you might want to get high too.
It's like, wait, did I just see a big odd-colored bunny with really big ears talking?
With guns for hands?
What am I smoking? Wait, I'm not smoking. What's wrong with me?
What am I smoking? Obviously, it's not strong enough. And I want to point out, ladies and gentlemen, before this goes too far, we do not endorse smoking marijuana. Please do not.
Yes. Yeah.
But at least there it's legal.
Yeah. No cheeseburgers, please. It's another word for smoking dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shows you how clean I am. I knew about Mary Jane. I knew about... Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so we our characters are finally all together, and we get the how all this entire story comes together with...
Or correction, how they tied all three of these together in a noose.
Yes.
None of this was in the original movies.
Yeah, it's pretty much a digital mess. Somewhat.
Digi-mess, digital bad filmmaking. Oh me, oh my. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're good. So we get the whole, like you said earlier, we get this, the tie-in to how the entire movie's, kind of linked together.
So they claim.
Or so they claim. There's a lot of it's not really explained, and for someone who...
Because you can't. Sorry, Go.
I will say this. The end fight scene was kind of okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with the third act, is it is the worst of the three acts. I agree. Part of that is because, like we've talked about, they crammed an hour-long movie into 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. And they cut a lot out.
But even the fight scenes are on par with what we would see in the show.
Yeah.
I'm fine with this if this were a made-for-TV movie, because it would be essentially made on the budget of 2 episodes.
Right.
This is supposed to be, even in Japan, a theatrical production, even if it's only a half hour long.
Right.
And I can't help but look at this compared to the other two parts where the animation was amazing, and not just go, you didn't need this. None of this was necessary, and what you do have is so rushed and so badly animated, it's not even interesting to look at.
Yeah.
I'm going to admit something to you people. I really was not paying attention in the last 15 to 20 minutes of this movie.
Oh, okay.
I had started looking up the actors for who was in this thing, because it's like, well, I've got to finish this one. I might as well go ahead and get started on this, because this is not going to get any better.
So you basically tuned out.
I kind of tuned out. I kept it going. I was still looking up, keeping honest. This fight's boring. Oh, look. Golden forms. You know they've lost originality when they go to golden forms.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that really didn't make any sense to me. Okay, you have...
Especially since you can't even see the darn thing.
No, you can't.
There's so much bloom on the animation, you can't see what they look like.
That is true.
I wasn't sure which one was Megaterriormon, because I don't remember the name of the actual thing.
Yeah.
And which one was Megavimon.
Yeah.
I don't even remember their names. That's how little I was paying attention. I just know and where did this power come from? They somehow got it from Angemon and Angewomon.
When they Mega-Digivolved.
Mega-Digivolved.
How?
And why are they now gold when the Angemons were not?
Yeah. So apparently they unleashed the golden Digi-Eggs. Or Digimetals, whatever they're called. And, okay, now they can golden armor Digivolve, which makes no sense. Because apparently, Gardemont's...
Gold is weaker than nearly every other armor they could possibly have.
Yeah, that's true.
From a metallurgical standpoint.
Yeah, and they literally... It was so lazy. Because Gardemont's, golden armor Digivolve is Rapidmon.
Mm-hmm.
That's his ultimate form.
Just gold.
Just gold. That's it.
Gold. This reminds me of Power Rangers Season 2, where they first tried to give them upgraded armor, and they just animated sparkles on their uniforms.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I remember that.
Also, these are more powerful putties. Why? Because they now have a vest with a Z on it. You can't beat them regularly unless you hit them on the Z. Wait, that's all we have to do? That means they're super weak. We know where their weak point is.
Hit the Z!
Hit the Z!
But,
oh, Saban Entertainment. Yes. What are we going to do with you?
I got you. So, yeah, I think it was a very lazy route of going, let's just make Gargamon gold. Now,
Yeah.
I like the lore behind the golden Digimetals, or Digi-Eggs, whatever they're called.
Mhm.
I like that.
It's just they didn't do much with them,
No.
and what they did with them, you can't hardly tell what they are.
That is true. That is so true. And they go inside of him and then destroy him from when to destroy the virus?
Somehow, and yet at the same time, you have to remember, they've gone back in time.
Yeah. Time is reversed
Somehow?
and now they're all babies? They're all little kids now? It's never
It's
really...
a confusing ending to this, to what's going on.
Yeah. Now we do get whatever the Lopamon? It's not Lopamon. Hold on. No, it's not. It's Wendigomon.
Yeah, Wendigomon.
Yeah, when Wendigomon says, go back to the beginning.
Yes.
And there I would point out there is a very good meta pun in this movie where Cody is saying, what does he say? Yeah, because when you see Digimon in his armor form, he's just static.
Yes.
There's no movement. And so you have Cody say this joke and be like, Digimon could use a little more animation.
Yes, I
was like, okay, that's
like,
kind of funny.
Did y'all just say that?
They did. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah, but
y'all recognize that y'all wasted a lot of celluloid on Digimon.
Yeah.
Not doing anything.
And so, our heroes win the day, our heroes win the day, be like, as it says in the movie, that Digimon really don't die, they
just get their data just gets reformatted.
And become...
And sometimes they come out singing a different tune. And
that was terrible.
He's tone deaf.
Apparently.
Okay.
Now, I do have to say this one thing about Willis. He is a ladies' man, I would say that.
Yeah, I'll give him that. It's like, you mean I'm the guy I'm Kari's boyfriend. It's like, not just a little peck? And he goes and kisses both girls. It's like,
oh gosh, Davis is jealousy beyond
Davis
belief.
is going to kill you.
Yeah,
off screen where the censors can't get him.
Yeah,
there's a reason we never saw Willis again.
He died.
He got stomped on by Wendigomon. Not singing well.
Apparently.
Anyway,
so there's our movie. And apparently there actually is a tie-in in season 2 of the TV show.
There is actually another movie.
Yes, there
that came out after this one.
Yeah.
Called The Return of... The Revenge of Diaboromon.
Yeah, Diaboromon.
Diablo.
Anna.
Yes. Diaboromon is Diablomon.
Yes.
But nobody caught that that's what it was at Saban Entertainment. And unlike every other Digimon where they were stuck with whatever name they put in the background of the transformation sequence, they could have renamed him.
They could have.
But they didn't. Also, one last thing. Can I point out that at the very end of the part 2, when they edit on the contents of Ty's letter onto her screen...
Yes.
And they put it in English so we could read it, as stupid Americans, they did not do a good job of editing that text onto that screen. That was the worst editing job I've ever seen. Anyway.
Alright.
Obviously, this movie is family friendly.
Yes. Even though it is... The jokes are so ridiculously stupid in some parts, beyond belief.
You just don't like the poop jokes.
No, I don't like the poop jokes.
Especially in the first part.
Yes, oh my gosh, I hate
those were the best poop jokes.
I know, but I don't like poop jokes. I do not like poop jokes.
Can we get a warning for this too?
Warning, poop jokes ahead.
Anyway, I will have to give this movie a 5.
Okay.
solely for the dullness, for two reasons.
Yeah.
The dullness of part 3.
Yeah.
Because it's just dull. That's the main problem I have with it. It's dull.
Yeah, I agree.
And the writing of the American dub for nearly the entire thing. There's some parts of it that are genuinely funny.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Especially Kari making fun of Ty in the first part.
Right.
But a lot of it is still just so... Corny's too nice a word. But that's the closest word I can come up with.
Cheesy.
No, cheesy's better than corny. Cheesy you can embrace.
Yeah.
You can embrace cheese and love it for all its cheesy goodness.
Yeah.
Corny is just yellow and a knob, and it's good with butter, it's not good by itself.
Yeah.
Unless it's been popped, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's good popcorn.
That's good popcorn.
This is not exactly good popcorn.
This is a good popcorn flick.
Yeah.
If you want to turn your brain off, or just decide to shut the movie off after Sora gets her email from Ty, that's a good time to turn it off right there. Because you've seen the best parts of it at that point. Why torture yourself? So yeah, I'm sticking with my 5. What do you want to give it?
Well, with the nostalgia I have for this series, and for oddly enough, when I started watching back in 1999, I was already a teenager. I was a late teenager.
And I wasn't?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. I do have a very fond memory of the show. The movie I really enjoyed when I watched it, and now, mind you, the third act is absolutely atrocious. It is.
Yes.
The animation, the first and second half are just gorgeous beyond belief. And even though the characters are not very well written, I still enjoy the characters. And I will definitely have to give this movie a 6.
Okay.
Because I can't, for the life of me, give this movie anything less than a 6. Because, the movie still I still enjoy the movie. Mm-hmm. And it brings back fond memories of watching the show. And with that, yes, I will give it a 6.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Cellcast, which means we need to roll for our next movie.
Yes.
For those of you keeping up, we have number 1 being Prince of Egypt.
Yes.
Number 2, Spider-Man, Enter the Spider-Verse. Number 3, The Little Mermaid. Number 4 is my new one to this week, since last week we did Digivolve Digimon into 2 spots so that we could get it off the list.
Yes.
I'm putting on their Summer Wars.
All right.
Another movie by Mamoru Hosoda.
Which has kind of a tie-in with this movie.
Exactly. What is number 5?
My movie, my choice would be Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
All right. And then sitting at number 6 is Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro.
All right.
Digimon the Movie was your choice.
Yes.
Even though we technically rolled it on my number. But that means it's my turn to roll.
All right.
Anything but a 4. No offense to Summer Wars, but I want a different movie than number 4. Number 1, which was Prince of Egypt.
All right, excellent.
Awesome. So join us next week for that episode.
Yes.
In the meantime, you can find me on Facebook. Look for Drew Dodgen, and also on Facebook, you should be able to find my Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin. Mm-hmm. I will be adding some pictures to that this week. I got some pictures taken last Sunday.
Yeah.
I just need to get them loaded onto the laptop, onto Facebook. I haven't done that yet. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, and also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I draw quite a bit, and it's just more me developing my skills as an artist.
There you go.
So, where can they find us?
They can find both of us at thecellcast.podbean.com. That is the official website of the Cellcast, for what that's worth. You can also find us in our closed Facebook group, the Cellcast. Mm-hmm. It is closed to keep the robots out, or in this case, the digiviruses that want to take down everything, looking for their programmer.
Yeah.
You can also email us at thecellcastpodcast.gmail.com. Keep in mind, every time we say the Cellcast, that is with a single L. That you can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. I remembered it this time.
Yes.
And I think that's it, unless you've got something to add.
No, I think it's it.
All right. Well, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
I finally got you now. You'll never get away this time.
I don't think so, Dr. Claw. Hey, Scooby, let's do it. All right. Scooby-Doo, Digivolve 2!
And I pressed the button. Beep.
Hey! What happened? Ricky, what happened? Oh no! I set it to Digivolve! Ray! Run! Next time on
The Cellcast.
I will make it so it never happened.
Nothing you can say can change what I've done.
I am Egypt, the morning and evening star. If I say day is night, it will be written. And you will be what I say you are. I say you are innocent.
What you say does not matter. You don't understand. I can't stay here any longer.
Moses!
No! All I've ever known to be true is a lie. I'm not who you think I am.
What are you talking about?
Go ask the man I once called father.